welcome. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's movie review is of 13 Fanboy, a suggestion from a fellow friend and YouTuber, the 13th Wolfman. And what I'm about to ask of you, go over his channel and do the exact same thing by hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell, because when you do those two things, it helps you stay up to date when my videos go live. Leave a like and share this video, because doing those two things helps me get my channel and videos out to a much broader audience. And leave a comment down below, because I want to hear what you have to say about this movie. If you've seen it, and if you have not seen it, my review kind of swayed you one way or the other? And if you really have no aspect of watching this movie whatsoever, leave a comment of what your favorite Friday the 13th movie is, because this movie is Friday the 13th. That's what this whole movie is centered around. Which I'm going to tell you what you need to know about this movie real quick, and that is it's a slasher movie where our killer had a very troubled growing up, and he was locked in the basement, and his only real escape from his prison was a stack of old VHS tapes, and they happened to be the Friday the 13th movies, and he kind of adopted these actors and actresses as his family, and then he goes on to kill him. And he ends up stalking him and killing him, and that's the kind of premise of the movie, and they're just trying to figure out who the killer is and everything. And I really like that premise. I really think this is a really cool plot and everything, but the execution is a little bit to be desired. Okay, I'm going to talk about the flaws real quick. One is more of a nitpick, but one really does it's a disservice to this for this franchise, especially when you have actors and actresses playing themselves from this franchise, coming together and kind of just having fun with roles that they're one big film credit, with exceptions of like Kane Hodder and Dee Wallace and Corey Feldman. So, with the exception of those three, you may not recognize a lot of other people in this movie unless you're really into this franchise. And that's kind of where the big flaw that comes into play, is the licensing of the Friday the 13th stuff. Because when you see these characters, you're like, oh, that she looks familiar, or he looks familiar, but you may not know exactly who it is. They're younger versions. They have some text on the screen saying this is who this person is and what film they were in. You may not be able to properly pull it from your memory. Like Kane Hodder, he's very distinct. Dee Wallace, also very distinct, but you may not know who Lar Park Lincoln is, or she is very distinct as well. But you may not know who some of the other ones, like C.J. Graham, I think that's his name. You may not know which Jason he played, even though it says it on the screen, but you may not realize, oh, is he the one with the utility belt? Is he the burlap sack one? It says that one, but you may sometimes, even me, they kind of get a little jumbled on, especially the later ones, which Jason is this? But Kane Hodder plays quite a few of them, but there's like 3 or 4 in the middle where it's which one is that one? So using actual footage from the movies would have helped quite a bit, like showing their death scene from the movie or stuff like that. That would have gone a long way. The other one is about the same. My other nitpick flaw is that this movie's pacing. It could have been maybe, we'll say, 10 to 15 minutes shorter. I think that was because there are some shots that kind of went along a little long. There was just some unnecessary stuff that felt like it didn't need to be in this movie. Dee Wallace goes to bed, and she puts her earrings in the thing. It's setting up something, and then they spend just like a couple extra minutes searching this room for a missing pair of earrings, where all I had to do was like, oh, my earrings are missing. And then the guy kind of like, her husband is just like, I thought you put them right there. And then she walks away to the bathroom, and then the next scene starts. That would have been perfect. But no, they kind of see him kind of searching underneath the bed, moving his pillows, stuff like that. Unnecessary to me. It really was. It could just help make the movie flow a little bit faster, stuff like that. That's not really nitpicky. That is very nitpicky, but I understand, like, maybe just kind of just letting the scene breathe. Sometimes you just need that. So, but I understand it's more of a nitpick for me more than anything. So on to the good. We have some awesome kills in this movie. They're all done practical. I think there is a little bit of CGI, but not much. Very little. And if it is, it's like you won't even notice it. It's kind of stuff like that. It's used to enhance more than anything. The acting can be kind of wonky at times, but it's an independent horror movie where a bunch of people who were also in a very campy horror franchise, who isn't known for their acting abilities, just come together and make a really fun horror movie. That's exactly what this is. I'm not watching it for the acting. I'm watching it to see these actors and actresses come together to make a fun movie, and for someone's love of the Friday the 13th series, which also goes back to my first initial big flaw is like, could have used some more like Jason-esque stuff in the movie, like Friday the 13th-esque atmosphere, So, and now the biggest like jarring thing in this movie, it's not a flaw or a good thing, is that our true lead of the movie is Dee Wallace, America's Mom, from Cujo, E.T., Rob Zombie's Halloween, The Howling. Just like her filmography is like a mile long, you know her. Once you see her on screen, that's her. You know who that is. So I was wondering, why is she in this Friday the 13th centered movie when she really has no true connection to the Friday the 13th movies that I can really think of. There's some dialogue at the beginning, and then at the end it kind of makes sense. There is a line of dialogue that was thrown in. I don't mean thrown in, just like it has been said, and I'm like, oh, I kind of see that, that when the killer is going through their spiel, like doing the big James Bond speech, and just like, I understand this. I completely understand their motive on this aspect of it all and everything, and it's just like, oh, I get it. I totally get it. So overall, I give this movie 3 stars, it's best watched with a group, it's, especially with fans of the Friday the 13th movies, oh, it's that movie or that movie. But I do have to say, my favorite thing about this movie is Corey Feldman. He is playing kind of a very creep in this movie. He's like the one Friday the 13th actor who is not playing himself. He is playing like a producer or whatever. So he's not playing Corey Feldman or Tommy Jarvis. As he's just playing a totally fresh new character. And that's what's fun. It's like he's not, and there's aspects of this movie where it's like, is he the killer? And is he? That is like, that made me want to finish this movie, really go into see to the end. It's like, I cannot wait to reach the end to see who the killer is and everything. And it was fun. I liked the reveal was okay, but I liked it. And then there was a little extra, and I'm like, oh, I like that as well. So this movie was fun. I really enjoyed it. There, like, some of the really strong aspects of this movie are the editing is actually pretty good, especially the transitions between scenes and everything. Sometimes you got that fade in and fade out kind of stuff, but even big movies today still use that technique. But there's some like shining shots, where like overhead view, a bird's eye view of a car driving through the woods, and it's kind of like it's dark and like it's. If you add the shining music behind it, it'd be really good. Almost be really well done that, and it's just like there was one particular transition that I really liked where she was driving in a car and the next scene was starting with like the border was a tree. So it kind of felt like it was so seamless and everything. It just felt so cool. I really liked that technique of that editing transition. It was just like this movie was actually it's very competent. It really is. Like if like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is like if it was able to use some actual some stuff from the Friday the 13th movies, just a simple like this. I don't think this movie is portrayed in the movie, but like some just simple like some better posters and some footage and stuff like that. Like it would actually, this one is probably the one that gets is it the new beginning? I'm sorry. No, that's not that one. Mainly like final chapter. You got like this. Like if they were able to actually use footage from these movies and stuff like that, I think it would have been perfect. It was just going to be like, oh, that's awesome. So it would have just enhanced those like introductory moments in the beginning of the movie. You're like, oh, that's awesome. It would have made us knowing about the characters a little bit more. So that's really all I have to say about 13 Fanboy, which I'm not crazy about the title either. I wish the title was a little bit different because 13 Fanboy just sounds weird and doesn't feel right, doesn't kind of roll off the tongue. But I honestly couldn't even think of a better title at the top of my head. But the title works. Like if it was like you couldn't really put the 13th. You couldn't say 13th. So it's just like 13 Fanboy. So it's just like okay. So that's really all I have to say about this movie. I enjoyed it. I thank you to the 13th Wolfman for bringing this movie to my attention, and I had a good time watching it. I just sat down, watched the movie, and did some laundry. Perfect way to end my day, honestly. So that is it. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can say is thank you.